When Terrence Howard dropped allegations about Diddy on that now viral podcast, everyone thought they'd heard the worst of it. But what if that was just the beginning?
That was all the people that went to the Puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Turns out Howard might be sitting on information so explosive it could bring Diddy's entire empire crashing down. And at the center of it all is a young white girl named Ava Baron, who mysteriously appeared in Diddy's life during the pandemic, only to vanish just as quickly.
If I didn't, when I was doing my encores, he would yell and scream to come on stage, really cause a fit. And so as the years went on, wanting to pursue his rap career.
The feds just updated their indictment against Diddy with 2 new anonymous victims, and rumors are swirling that Ava could be one of them. Even more shocking, insiders claim she might take the stand against the music mogul in his upcoming trial. What really happened behind closed doors? And how did Terrence Howard become the unlikely hero in this twisted saga? The mysterious adoption that raised eyebrows. In 2020, at the height of the pandemic, Diddy made a bizarre announcement that flew under most people's radar. He introduced the world to Ava Baron, a young white girl he claimed to have adopted. The announcement came out of nowhere. An Instagram live video showing Ava with Diddy and his sons, with the music mogul proudly announcing, "Breaking news, Diddy adopted a white child."
What's your other last name?
Ava Baron.
Ava Baron Combs? Yes, it was breaking news. Diddy adopted a white child. I want you to tell them the story about how I adopted you.
At the time, many viewed it as a heartwarming gesture, a powerful figure opening his home during a global crisis. But looking back at that video now, with everything we've learned about Diddy's alleged behavior, the entire interaction feels deeply unsettling. In the uncomfortable footage, Ava appears visibly nervous as Diddy instructs her to tell them the story of how he adopted her. Her rehearsed response raises immediate red flags. "I was on the streets, and then Papa decided that he would like to be a caring man. So then he saw me, and decided to wake me up and said to come inside." Even more disturbing was Diddy's choice to compare himself to Madonna, whose own adoptions have been surrounded by controversy, including accusations from the Ethiopian World Federation of exploiting children and misleading parents. Not exactly the comparison you'd want to make if everything was above board. The red flags nobody noticed. What struck viewers as particularly odd was the dynamic captured in that Instagram video. While Diddy claimed Ava played with his twin daughters, she was surrounded exclusively by his sons, including Justin and Christian, who faced their own legal troubles. Justin was even named in Lil Rod's lawsuit against Diddy, creating an even more troubling picture. Ava's body language spoke volumes, her discomfort visible to anyone paying attention. She appeared withdrawn, her answers seemed rehearsed, and the entire interaction lacked the natural warmth you'd expect from a genuine father-daughter relationship. But the biggest red flag, Ava practically disappeared after that video. Despite Diddy having her call him Papa Combs, she vanished from his social media and public appearances almost immediately. For someone who supposedly joined the family permanently, her absence sparked questions that nobody seemed eager to answer. The bodyguard who knew too much. When Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Dill stepped forward with his account, the story took an even darker turn. According to Gene, the adoption was nothing but a publicity stunt, a calculated move to boost Diddy's public image during the pandemic. He found a little homeless girl, brought her into his world under the guise of adoption.
Unsealed, Combs is being charged with racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise.
And then pretended to embrace her like one of his own, all for appearances, John alleged in a damning interview. Once he got the attention he wanted, he cast her aside like she was never part of the family. But John didn't stop there. He hinted that something far more sinister might have occurred, suggesting federal investigators were searching for compromising videos involving Ava. While he stopped short of making explicit accusations, his implications were clear and horrifying. They're looking for pictures of girls that may appear to be underage in a certain context, Jean claimed, sending shockwaves through social media. That's what they're looking for. They're going through all those devices. Terrence Howard's cryptic warnings, before any of this blew up, Terrence Howard had already confronted Diddy in his own way. On a podcast that went viral, Howard described how Diddy allegedly tried to put moves on him and attempted to lure him into an intimate relationship. But Howard made it clear he wasn't the only target. "When you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it," Howard said. "All the people that went to the puffy parties, all the people that did those things thinking there was never going to be a consequence, got punked out and pimped out by some greater desire." More recently, Howard posted a cryptic video on social media suggesting he was being threatened by powerful people for speaking out, using the hashtag #mancard, the same term he used when discussing Diddy on the podcast.
But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
He made it clear who he was referring to. "If you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths," Howard warned. Man to man, eye to eye, integrity and truth. The message sent a clear signal. Howard wasn't backing down, and he might know more than he initially revealed. The feds. Close in. New victims. New charges.
Breaking news now. The indictment against Sean Diddy Combs has just been unsealed. Combs is being charged with racketeering conspiracy, alleging he ran an enterprise that he engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor.
Just when it seemed the situation couldn't get more serious, federal prosecutors updated their indictment against Diddy, adding 2 new anonymous victims and additional charges. The timing, right after Terrence Howard's cryptic posts, has many convinced there's a connection. The new indictment describes how Diddy allegedly engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals, using manipulation, coercion, and threats to force participation in what he called freak-offs, elaborately produced sexual performances that Diddy allegedly directed, filmed, and sometimes participated in. According to the indictment, Diddy ensured participation from women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing controlled substances to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation.
And I usually come color coordinated, so that was all to explain why I had a blue bandage on like that. And I wasn't color coordinated.
Most disturbingly, prosecutors added charges covering the period from at least in or about 2021 up to and including in or about 2024, a timeline that could potentially include Ava Baron, given her first appearance in Diddy's orbit in 2020. 50 Cent. The prophet nobody believed. While 50 Cent's long-standing feud with Diddy was well known, his warnings now seem prophetic rather than petty.
A federal judge has denied Sean Diddy Combs' efforts to delay the start of his upcoming sex trafficking trial.
For years, 50 hinted at darker aspects of Diddy's behavior, but most dismissed his comments as simple jealousy or industry rivalry. Last year, 50 Cent announced he was working on a documentary about Diddy, cryptically stating, "Did he do it coming soon? GLG Greenlight Gang," and another one. He added, "I'm the best producer for the job, guys. Here come the receipts." According to insiders, 50 Cent allegedly has evidence related to how Diddy treated Ava, and this information will feature prominently in his upcoming documentary.
American rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been denied bail as he awaits trial on federal charges. Combs pleaded not guilty.
His cryptic statement? This is why they put that tape out. They know they can't charge him with what we saw, but they know we can't unsee what we saw. Suggests there may be evidence too disturbing for public consumption. The trial that could change everything. Though delayed, Diddy's trial is approaching quickly, and sources claim Ava Baron could be called to testify. If she takes the stand, her testimony could prove devastating to Diddy's already crumbling defense.
All right, we're back with Sean Diddy Combs. Is it Diddy today? Because sometimes you're Puffy and sometimes you're Diddy. Or sometimes you're Daddy.
The charges against Diddy are severe: trafficking, racketeering, and coercion, carrying potential sentences that could keep him behind bars for decades. If Ava's story becomes part of the prosecution's case, as rumors suggest, the public may finally learn the full truth about her brief appearance in Diddy's life. What began as a seemingly innocent announcement during the pandemic has evolved into potentially one of the most disturbing chapters in a scandal that continues to shock the entertainment world. As more witnesses come forward and federal investigators dig deeper, one thing becomes increasingly clear: we've only scratched the surface of what really happened. Whether Terrence Howard, Gene Deal, or perhaps Ava herself will deliver the final blow to Diddy's empire remains to be seen. But with the trial approaching, the truth, however dark it may be, is finally coming to light.